was mad embarrassed the other day. You brought up Kwanzaa.
Yeah, good.
And he was like, yeah, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And I'm like, I honestly had no idea what Kwanzaa was.
Unity, self-determination, working together collectively, group economics, purpose, creativity, and faith.
I knew what Kwanzaa was, yeah.
I knew what it was.
I never actually bought a Kwanzaa set years ago,
you know,
but never walked through the steps. Christmas, although very, very commercialized, is tied to religion, and there's nothing that's religious about Kwanzaa. It's not tied to a religion.
Yeah, it's just principles.
You can only ever love others to the degree in which you love yourself. It's hard to become the foundation of your family if you're not right inside so that you can treat your family as you treat yourself.
Would you say a big part of self-determination is also thinking for yourself?
Absolutely. And that goes down to what we was talking about a couple podcasts ago, where we were influenced by what people thought about what we bought. And that's why we buy it.
Or even like because your perspective is given to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you go out and have experiences for yourself.
100%.
Usually that comes with somebody's agenda or somebody else's thought.
Absolutely.
Right.
You notice a lot of these principles of Kwanzaa sound corny.
We talked about corny before, though.
Yeah, corny works, man.
Corny works.
Corny works.
We got them up. They up there.
Yeah, we're gonna go through them.
Yeah, we got them up right there.
I just say this is amazing. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Absolutely.
Yo, I was mad embarrassed the other day.
What happened?
What?
I don't know if I was embarrassed. I was like, you know what? I never thought about that. When we was doing the session on the book writing, right?
Yeah.
And y'all were bringing up like Kwanzaa. No, I think you brought up Kwanzaa.
Yeah, I brought up
Good.
Kwanzaa, yeah.
And he was like, yeah, the 7 principles of Kwanzaa. And I'm like, and I was like, Kwanzaa got set. I had no idea. I honestly had no idea what Kwanzaa was.
Yeah.
Did you know what Kwanzaa was?
I knew what Kwanzaa was. Yeah,
I knew what it was.
I never actually bought a Kwanzaa set
Yeah,
years
but I mean,
ago,
you know,
but never walked through the steps. Yeah, I knew.
I never explained it because
It's eye-opening though, right? It's like,
yeah, because the where
principles.
the idea of where it started and the principles, like, EA, how did it get started? Do you know how it got started?
no, this is African culture. This is African. That's what I'm saying. We got.
Yeah, but what happened is like Kwanzaa was created for African Americans using the principles from Africa. Like it was created like in the 60s, I believe, after the riots. Like somebody felt the idea needed to create. I think it was after the LA riots. Is it the LA riots?
It was the
LA
Watts
riots was not in
riots.
the 60s.
It was the Watts riots.
The Watts riots. Right? What year was that?
It said in the 60s.
In the 60s. So I had to do my research.
Okay.
But the principles and what it's about, I think, are amazing. And I don't think anybody, or I'm not saying anybody, I don't think most people know those principles and those things.
Right.
Do you know?
1966.
Do you know the principles?
Not by heart.
So do we?
We got them up. They up there.
Yeah, we're gonna go through them.
Yeah, we got them up right there.
I just say this is amazing. Let's talk about it. Go ahead.
Absolutely. Y'all ready? We
Yeah,
rocking?
we're rocking.
We've been rocking.
We're 3 minutes in.
I'm just in here.
That's what I'm talking about, man. You gonna get me in trouble. The first part I was talking about, how I rock the laces and the hat and all that.
I don't think you'll get in trouble.
Y'all ain't even put me on the joint.
I don't think that's in there.
All right, that's in there.
I don't think that's in there.
That's in there. Oh, I think it is. Oh, man.
I think it might be.
EA, I need you, baby. You got to save me. Promise next leg day I'll take it easy on you.
Wow.
I know
we was on the call, about the book, brainstorming, doing all, and we brought up. So, do I tell people that all of our things in the book are going to be?
No, we brought up Kwanzaa because I don't want to give the idea about the book, like
okay,
what it's about. But go ahead.
So we were talking about Kwanzaa and the principles that that Kwanzaa is based off of, and we thought it would be something that we could literally bring to the people, because we realized that not a lot of people, I think we've been indoctrinated for so long with Christmas. A lot of the the holidays.
But I don't think there's anything wrong with celebrating both of them.
No,
I don't think so. I don't know. I don't celebrate.
A lot of people do.
Oh, okay.
A bunch of people do.
Yeah. So I think because there's what 6 candles, 6 or 7 candles, seven candles that are based upon each candle is basically a principle or something like that.
Yeah. And you celebrate one each day.
But the idea behind it is fascinating.
Yeah, it's based on the harvest festival, and I think the word Kwanzaa means like first fruit. So it's tied directly to that, and so your harvest is based upon these principles, right? Of the things that we're going to talk about.
So are we talking in practical, like your harvest of your actual crop, or your life as well?
So in African, yes, in Africa, it was based on the actual fruit, but it was spun to. It's based on the fruit of your sowing, or based on the fruit in your life. So not necessarily an apple or a strawberry, but the fruit of your life.
But that's dope, because most African proverbs are actually tied to, us as creatures that inhabit the earth, or fruit or other living organisms. You know what I'm saying? That like everything is tied to agriculture and sowing, and you know what I mean? Just like real principles. Yeah, way of life with everything. AWOL. That's super dope, right?
I didn't even think about that when I said that.
Yeah.
So let's talk about some of the 7 principles.
Yeah.
One thing to point out, though, to your question that you ask. So Christmas, although very, very commercialized, is tied to religion, and there's nothing that's religious about Kwanzaa. It's not tied to a religion.
Yeah, it's just principles.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to get into the Christmas side.
I think we need to. This was created to celebrate African American culture.
Correct.
So we always talk about how we have
based on
African principles. Right. So we remember a few podcasts ago, I said we need to come up with a questionnaire and ask people, are you African, are you African American, or are you American, right? And based off of how they answer, we could probably, literally tie that to the psychology of the way they think, the way people think, and their mindset and mentality and things like that. So this is a way for African Americans to identify with some type of culture that's rooted in principles, right? And you don't have to give up Christianity to believe in the principles of Kwanzaa.
That's like saying you're going to give up your religion because you're learning financial responsibility or financial, they don't go hand in hand.
You're right, but the actual mindset of African American people is that this is maybe a Muslim holiday or something that's not tied to, they think it's different than Christmas. So I can't do it. I can't get with it. I don't know what the psychology is or why a lot of people don't rock with Kwanzaa or just identifying with the principles or celebration of it. You know what I'm saying?
No, I get you 100%. So let's dive into some of the things that the principles, right? So
I think the first one is based on unity.
Yeah. So it's unity, to strive and to maintain unity in the family, community, nation, and race. Mm-hmm. That sounds very familiar of the stuff that I be running around talking.
Absolutely.
Like self, family, and community.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
When your relationship like you starts with self.
Yeah.
And we talked about last couple podcasts, I was talking about knowledge of self, know thyself. And you saying that, you can only ever love others to the degree in which you love yourself. And you say that all the time. Until you have that relationship with yourself, then you can't love your family the way you need to love your family. So you got guys that go out here and their priorities are messed up because we're broken within us. You know what I'm saying? And that it's hard to become the foundation of your family if you're not right inside, so that you can treat your family as if, you treat yourself. You know, you understand what I'm saying?
No, 100%.
You just see, and be a pillar of the community is like a lot of people who we may put up here as a pillar of our community, we wind up finding some stuff out about them, you know, later on down the line, and then we kind of don't look at them for leadership or in that light anymore because of the way they live their life. I always say this dope thing where I say, you know, you don't lead from a position, you lead from your life. And you will lose your position by the way you live your life. And that all is going to be rooted in knowledge of self and love of self. So self-love and, you know, knowledge of self is really going to be the key to, you know, us coming together as people with that first principle unity. That's what I believe.
So how do we do that? Coming together as one, because that's basically unity is all of us coming together as one.
Yeah.
How do we do that? We can do it on a family level. It's much easier, but from, you know, one of the things that we talked about on a previous podcast is all of us coming together, you know, from an economic standpoint to form an economic force, economic front. How do we do that beyond our family? Or is that the starting place?
I don't have the answer, Sway. I think the idea.
How Sway?
I think the idea is. I think for now we can talk about. All right, here is the 7 principles. That were created. What do they mean to us, and then how can we use them in business, and then
no doubt
how do we apply? Like, so I think like before we try to tackle this, everybody come together in kumbaya. Let's understand what's inside these 7 principles and how we can apply them.
Well, I think he said since we just wrote down one.
Yeah, I know. I was just saying that joint's difficult. Like the big question you asked.
I don't think it is. I think we're demonstrating it. I think we're demonstrating it now. Where we've come together. Like for multiple things. Right. Our families are blending together. Mm-hmm. We're working out together. Mm-hmm. We're crossing platform. Your platform is crossing now. They're seeing me with you with Rod on a daily basis, and people are recognizing us from out there. We're in Houston, dog. Me and him are in Houston, and people are saying, yo, I love y'all podcast. And, you know, me being in sales with, I gotta market to people. When people come in the gym, I'm trained to ask the question like, how'd you hear about us? Or how'd you find AWOL? Or what brought you here? Or stuff like that. So when people tell me like, you know, your podcast is dope, I'm like, yo, you know, I'm in Houston. I'm trying to figure out like how you found out about the podcast. A lot of people, man, well, I follow Max, and because, you know, Max is, you know, all over and doing these different type of things. I've checked out y'all new podcast, man. I think it's one of the dopest things that people are doing right now. I love the fact that Max is doing something totally different, and he's able to be a different character. You get more of, you know, who he really is outside of real estate. And that's dope. That starts from us, like literally stepping outside of our families, our own community, because you've built this one community, and then we got enough like courage to say, man, we're gonna start a whole nother thing and build a whole nother community from scratch. Like, you know what I mean? Instead of just being comfortable in our little joint, you know what I'm saying? So I just think it all starts with what we got. Like, whatever I got going on, I'm creating that narrative, and I'm literally like running with the narrative in my AWOL with my 200 people first. And then I got my platform with my, 26,000 of this and this, that, and the third, and my messages coming across are all with my same narrative. So if you rocking with me and you listen to me, you're gonna keep hearing me pushing the same self this and self that, you know what I mean, all the way down to you get right. And if you ain't getting right, then you ain't affecting your family and running your family, or back to being the head of your family. Like, think of me. I came home from prison, right? Where my wife was the breadwinner. First 6 months, year, 18 months, I ain't have to pay nothing but the cell phone bill, because that's all I could pay. But now I'm the head of my family. Like, all the decisions run through me. It doesn't mean that we aren't equal partners, but she respects the fact that this is the head of our household and things are running towards me. If I didn't never finish, fixing, myself, not that it ain't done, but continuously working on myself to come back and regain the head of household, then I couldn't be the pillar in the community and that I am now in AWOL. So if my wife has all these people that knew her in Greensboro, right, and all the people she worked with, and then all of a sudden, here comes this guy nobody knows. He's just got a few muscles and You know what I'm saying? Next thing you know, I got the chief of police, I got the assistant city manager. I just did a 5K and half a marathon, right? And I ran into the former city manager. He resigned, right? Ran into him. You know, he came up to me and said, "Man, I'm a fan." This is what he said. You know, the city manager is one of the most powerful people in the city, right? They cut the checks for everybody in the joint, right? The man came up to me and said, "I'm a fan." He said, "If there's anything that I could do to help you or lend a hand or whatever you got going on," like that, bro, it takes us from self, the family, to community, to, you know what I mean? It takes us
Nation,
way outside of, you know what I mean, the confines of our little space and place that we just be operating in on a daily basis. So it all starts with us. I don't mean to, you know, talk so long on
it
it.
does start with us. Yes, I mean it's a tall task.
Yeah, my bad.
But it's a task in itself.
But we are showing people that we can come together and still be successful.
That's the only way this works.
Yeah, yeah. And our egos are like, you know what I mean? We ain't had really a big clashes yet with our, you know, except for our little
but
rants.
I think even in the lessons of our disagreements, we still friends. We still respect and we still love each other. And I think that's where people get it wrong, is that I have to agree with everything you do or say, so therefore I'm your friend. Now, I can disagree with the way you do things. That don't mean that you're right or wrong, and vice versa. That just means that I don't agree with you on this topic, but we still can kick it.
Right.
Like, you know, it's very, even like if you look at like politics, you look at people, yo, I'm red or I'm blue, and I don't rock with any red or I don't rock with no blue. I think that's stupid. That's stupid. Like the people I hang around with, they got, you know, blue views or, you know, conservative views or progressive views, but I hang around all of them. Right. That don't mean I hate neither one of them for what they think.
Yo, that literally takes us to the next joint. Like, because when you can think for yourself and speak for yourself and act for yourself and, you know what I'm saying, and just do things for yourself, it leads to self-determination.
And that's it.
And like, that's the second one. Like, you know what I mean? Where I got a chapter in one of in my Prison to Prosperity books where it's self-determination is actually one of the chapters, but I got that from self-government. Like I literally, being able to govern yourself is what creates like being able to think for yourself and to, you know, understand the way that I don't let a lot of people speak for me for what I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? Like that, like I have to create the narrative. Like that's why I became involved in TEDx, because these people are creating the narrative to what's next. The whole, if you think about what TED Talks are all about, they're like the people that are controlling the narrative to what's next. And I feel like I'm a thought leader. So if I'm a thought leader, then I need to be on the platforms that are controlling the thoughts to what's next. They're literally provoking people's thoughts to say, you need to understand how mushrooms are for healing. You know what I'm saying? And then you'll go listen to a TED Talk on that, and you know, why did we put him on the platform? Well, we thought his topic was, you know what I mean, had enough information to take us into this is the next best thing. But if nobody on the on the board looks like me, then the things that they about to put out there for the next generation is going to be, it's going to be some crazy stuff. You know, you understand what I'm saying? So I rocks with that joint and I help pick the speakers. That makes sense? Instead of me just wanting to be a speaker just do a TED Talk.
You help curate.
Yeah.
So a big part of, would you say a big part of self-determination is also thinking for yourself?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And that goes down to what we was talking about a couple podcasts ago, where we were influenced by what people thought about what we bought. And that's why we buy it.
Or even like because your perspective is, we talked about it before too, your perspective of what you're saying is like, you can't, like, your perspective is given to you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Unless you go out and have experiences for yourself.
100%.
And usually that comes with somebody's agenda or somebody else's
Absolutely.
thought.
Right.
Absolutely.
That's
You
why
know,
we got
another one is collective work and responsibility. Right? Yeah. Teamwork makes the dream work.
that word collective.
Yeah.
Is all of us coming together to work on something. That is like 1 + 1 = 5.
Yeah.
when we do that versus, you trying to work on something, you trying to work on me, trying to work on something. We can do that. Somebody can spearhead the thing, but when you add other people's influence, when you add their ideas, I mean, that's huge because you can go so much further.
So much faster.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Absolutely.
I mean,
Have that together.
don't they say like the whole is greater than the sum of all its parts or something like that?
Yeah.
That means just like together we can be better than everybody is individually.
Yeah.
I got this super dope joint that I be talking to the teams and stuff like that. And I asked the team the other day, I was like, what's the most important part on the car? And like mostly everybody's first answer is like the engine. And I was like, well, if you ain't got no key to turn the car on, the engine ain't gonna work.
Unless you got the old school joint, you got hot wire.
Yeah, but if the wire ain't working,
I'm just joking.
so now we go to the wire. So now if the wire ain't working, if the spark plug ain't working, if the tire ain't on, if the tire ain't flat, if the tire's flat, if the bolt ain't on the tire, every single thing is super important. And a lot of people don't look at themselves as being a part of something that is super important, and they don't try to be the best thing that they could possibly be. Can you imagine if you had the best bolts on your tire? Like, just think about the stuff that we like get in our cars or pay for our cars. Like, we be trying to, if we pay enough for our car, we're gonna get the best of everything on that joint. We try to put good oil in that joint. You know what I'm saying?
Not the best.
It's a good oil.
It's a good, better, best theory. The good, better, best.
Right,
You're just trying to put the good joint in there, not the
good oil.
So, the collective work and responsibility.
Yeah, if you want to go far, man, become a part of a team. If you want to go far.
Yeah.
Yeah, they say you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, yeah.
And then they got cooperative economics.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
This is group economics, doing stuff to put that money together. Let's do something.
So many people know that.
I ain't gonna put my money with your money because you think crazy, man. You think burpees is a way of life, so I ain't putting my money with you.
That's what I'm talking about. Until I equate burpees with, well, you it's a seed, and you got to go down before you come up, and then it's laws of sowing and reaping.
One of the things you said early on when I met you was like, when they buried me, they never knew I was a seed.
Yeah.
Still a dope one.
Yeah. Still a bar.
Still a bar.
Yeah.
But,
so that's shared wealth and work, right?
Shared wealth and work.
I
ain't just sharing you my wealth.
Right.
And the work, Negro.
Right.
And the work. Right.
But so in my business, one of the things that made us really, really successful, the partnership, is nobody was sitting around keeping score in terms of the amount of work, because we knew that at some point in time, someone is going to be doing more work than the other two people.
With it. Yeah.
Right. As at any given moment, or somebody may be investing more something into the business or into the shared goal than someone else. So it's not going to be, if we share the wealth and we share the work, it's not going to be equal all the time. So we can't get hung up on, Lynch is at home right now, and I'm out here pitching this R7. Well, no, that's what's necessary at the moment in time, because and I'm going to be at home when you're pitching the R7. So something that was real important for us is we didn't keep score. We didn't keep a tab of who's doing what, or all that stuff. We just knew, okay, here's everybody's role and responsibility. Let's go get it.
Do y'all think that that's from like coming up in sports? Because I came up in sports, I just I was trained to kind of know everybody's roles, and like, I'm going to do, like, I played both sides of the ball in football. I played special teams. I was just like, I just did more than everybody anyway, and I wasn't tripping. I just loved to be on the field, like, you know what I'm saying, and do what I do. I love they was calling my name in the booth, you know what I'm saying, stuff like that. Yeah. Hunt on a tackle, you know what I'm saying, hunt for 5 yards or something like that. I mean, I'm just doing what I do, man, and I ain't tripping. Everybody can't do what you do, right? You know what I mean? And you can't expect them to either.
I think the theory of understanding that there's enough business and opportunities for everybody.
For everybody.
Like, everybody go eat and eat good. Another one is, economic self-reliance. What does that mean? What do you get out of that, Rod? Economic self-reliance.
Yeah, that means control your destiny, or at least work to control your destiny, versus being a part of the layoffs, or being a part of the downsizing or the right sizing. Economic self-reliance is saying, I'm going to create, build and distribute wealth, and having, the guts to march down that road. Mm-hmm. That's what I think economic self-reliance is.
I think that's what we're doing with the book as well, saying, we're going to give you some principles to create wealth in your life that you can sustain. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? That helps, people with economic self-reliance, like to be able to. So one of the things that you need to create community is you need your own economic system.
Right.
Like you need to be able to have your own money.
Yep.
And if you got to go to somebody else to get the money, then they actually control you. And that's the stuff that we see in sports, in the record industry, in entertainment. If all those people are the ones that's giving you the money and the checks, then you can't say certain stuff. You can't do certain stuff. You can't move freely. So if you have your own, economic, self-reliance, then Max said in the other podcast, he said, "Oh, y'all can't cancel me. You don't write my check."
Absolutely.
And that's economic self-reliance.
That's what economic power is, man. Mm-hmm. Being able to create and distribute the wealth. A key part of, the whole cooperative economics part is being a giver and having an obligation to give. We talked about, interest on a previous podcast, and charging interest, and how some communities, they don't charge each other interest, right? Because they have an obligation to help them grow. Mm-hmm. And that's a form of generosity. If I loan you money and don't charge you any interest, that's an example of generosity. But also, giving, or not expecting a direct payment back immediately. In return. So that's us having an obligation of generosity. And Black people are the most giving people on earth, on the planet. So, making sure that we understand that there's more than one place to give.
Yeah. Right? Absolutely.
There's more than one place to give.
What you mean? You ain't got to give all your money to the church?
Yeah, there's more than one place. There's more than one place to give.
I don't think they're a good responsible party at this day and age on where to distribute it.
Yeah.
I think at this point that they don't have a oversight obligation on where the money goes.
Yeah,
like,
a lot of
I've
times
seen churches build new churches and pick the most complete worst contractors, where they almost could have built the same church twice.
Right.
Right. They don't, instead of going to hire that consultant for $10,000, $15,000, $25,000, somebody that, I don't know, that builds, stand-up gardens is now the head of the the thing. And not only that, I just feel like there is a better place or better system we can create for group economics, or not really group economics, but the generosity.
Yeah.
The obligation of generosity is just like, everybody's not always going to be up, and there's sometimes maybe a turn where you're going to be the one down.
I swear.
And as long as that person doesn't take advantage of that generosity, and even if they do, it's fine. But there's a lot. I think there's a lot of good principles in this stuff.
I think that obligation to generosity. I think, one, you gotta want to give, and you just say we were going to give. That's one of your like values, and one of the things that you kind of stand on and stuff like that. So do you think that you look for opportunity? So I think a lot of that falls back on like leadership, because like we looking for places to sow and give, and you know what I'm saying, and help out and things like that. Like we just raised some money a few weeks ago, and we had no problem coming together in less than 24 hours and like completing a task.
5 figures.
You know what I mean? Yeah. I think that was super dope, but it all, like, we literally embodied all of those principles like that. You know what I'm saying? And, one of them is like, I think we have faith in our leadership. You know, when we came together, the way we came together, we had faith or purpose with that. You know what I'm saying? Which is more principles. Like that makes sense.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
And now that we're looking at the words, you know, that principles that this was, you know, founded on and created, we say, dang man, like that was Kwanzaa in one day.
Yeah. One of the things that you stand on really strong is your value system. And what your values are, and knowing what your values are, you know, which ties directly to the value of purpose versus passion. You know, I think passion is overrated. I don't know about you guys. I've been passionate about a bunch of different things at any given time, and some stuck, and most of them didn't stick. You know, and that passion was kind of, you know.
Well, I think that's the reason why we're only given one place, because of that passion. We're conditioned to, you know what I mean, just do it right here, and we're passionate about it. We're going to do it every week. But like you tied to some people that like they need it, and you know what I mean, you could sow that seed. You can sow that seed wherever, man. Like, you know what I'm saying? Or, you know, it's all good.
But the purpose is the thing that can change the world. Right?
Yes.
The purpose is the thing. Instead of chasing passion, chase purpose. The purpose, if your life is tied directly to your purpose, then you'll never, you know, working or doing whatever your vocation is will be fun. It'll be incredible. Your family will be incredible, but making sure that you have that strong value system, which includes all the things that we talked about, you know, before we got to this point right here. Yeah.
I mean, I think we talk a lot about values. You know, I think I just did a class, and one week, you know, I actually had people jot down, you know, some of these values and everything like that, and it was one of the most powerful classes that we had, you know, because people had a chance to see what moves them, what drives them, and you know what moral compass is actually leading their life. And you know, a lot of us, these are unspoken values or unspoken truths that we believe we have, but we never really like take the time and jot these things down. So, you know, I think if you know, if you're out there listening to this or watching this, you take some time and get to know what's, you know, what moves you, or, you know, how you want to move. It could go a long way, and it can help you with this purpose or your reason for being.
You notice a lot of these principles of Kwanzaa sound corny.
You talked about corny before, though.
Yeah, corny works, man.
Corny works.
Corny works.
It don't always gotta be cool, bro.
Corny,
yeah.
It's always gotta work though.
I mean, success is boring, man. So,
but it's what we need, man.
I figured out a while ago though that following cool got me in trouble when I should have just stayed corny.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I should have just stayed the one doing my thing, following my, you know, being creative with all my, you know what I mean? I think that's one of them too.
That brings in the next one.
Creativity. Like, you know what I'm saying? Once you get into that thing where you following everybody else, you're not being creative no more. You know what I mean? And it's crazy how I be saying, I said this the other day, and I was like, yo, they about to look at me crazy. I said, if I'm where everybody else is, I'm in the wrong spot, and I feel messed up, and I don't feel right, and I start tripping because there's too many people around. You know what I'm saying? Like, I just feel like I'm doing the wrong thing if I'm doing what everybody else doing. And I feel like I'm not being creative if I got the same thought as everybody else.
When was the last time you used your imagination?
Today. Your boy don't play around with that.
You use your imagination a lot? You sit and dream and picture and formulate and kind of stare off into the sky and be like, if?
I'm a visionary.
What if?
It's the reason, like, I take what people would consider dreams and cartoons and I turn them into realities.
Some people might say you're romanticizing.
Nah.
No?
I'm creating, right? And the big part of creativity is to create. I create my vision. I make it happen. I don't romanticize about the processes or the things that I want. Like, I dream it, and that joint goes.
The execution.
Well, I think create, it actually means like to bring it to life.
Gotcha.
So so you know, one is just like romanticizing is just like an idea. You know, you're just infatuated with the idea.
I'm going all the way.
Yeah, well, you actually used the word vision, and that word has the ION, that shun, that's the movement of something. You know what I'm saying? So like action. You know what I'm saying? When you look, can you look that up for me real quick? What's that, a suffix?
Yes.
Yeah.
I failed all those classes. Yes.
Yeah. We almost there. I think we chose the bottom. I think if you can give me this one right here. But that's the difference between, I think, just dreaming and, creating, imagination. You know what I'm saying? Like, so like when you start, when that dream gets in motion, then, you know what I mean? It's the preview to life's coming attractions.
Yeah, people cheer ideas, but they worship results, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, and the last principle of Kwanzaa is faith.
It
doesn't say what faith. It doesn't say just faith.
What is faith, though?
It's supposed to be like belief in the unseen or something like that, man. Y'all can give me something. Give me a definition of that.
Man, I heard this preacher one time say, faith is adding a garage to your house, knowing that the car is on the way. Knowing that the car is on the way.
So faith is defined as a noun that is a complete trust or confidence in someone or something.
Yeah.
Have a strong, complete trust or confidence in someone or something.
Yeah. I heard an interesting take on the word trust. And the point of view about trust that was totally different than from something that I've heard before, and that is that trust should not be limiting or binding, right? So if I say I trust you, I trust that, I should be saying I trust that you are going to be you, that you are going to do what you deem is necessary and not what I deem
I got what you said.
is necessary.
That's an interesting perspective.
Right. And so, but most of the time, our trust is tied to what I think you should be doing the way I think you should be doing it. Right. And so if trust is a key component of faith, then we should trust that things are as they should be versus being the way we believe they should be, because whenever they're not, then there's disappointment and frustration, right? Because I have an expectation of you doing what I expect for you to do, and when you don't.
To add on to that, I think that the major problem with trust is that we're believing somebody to be somebody and we don't know them, and they're supposed to be acting as who they are, and we don't really know that person, and we're giving that trust to them without trustworthy acts being established. So you trust based off of trustworthiness, which comes from trustworthy acts. And when people continuously display trustworthy acts, then you should be able to trust them based off of their actions of that they displayed in trust.
And that definition is conditional, right? Where the point of view that I heard, I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it, but the point of view that I heard was it's unconditional. So there's not really a trustworthy act. The act is as it is. It just is. And I have to trust that that's how the person, place, or thing moves.
Yeah, I was talking in terms of people and relationships, but if you're just talking about a thing,
well, even with people, I gotta trust that you are who you are. You move the way you move, and there's no condition put on that.
Yeah, but you can't because then that's blind faith.
So is there such thing as complete trust?
Depends upon your definition.
Not in people. I'm just saying, not in people.
I think from what I got from what you were saying is that when you say you trust someone, it means that not that you have trust in them, but you have trust that they're going to be who they are.
Exactly.
And not held to whatever standards you may think the person is. Like, yo, if you gonna rob and steal, or like I'm saying, like, yeah, that's him, or that's that person, or like for example, no matter what you do, whether people say it's right or wrong, whether it's good or bad, whether I like it or don't, it is you. I trust you, meaning that you are going to be whoever the hell you are action-wise
Right.
portrayed.
But if you don't truly know me, here's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
If you don't truly know me, I could be hiding somebody or something from you all this time.
Yeah, but I get what you're saying. But what he's saying is that even when you do the good or the bad, that is you.
That's you.
Absolutely.
And I
Yeah,
trust
so that's
you.
what he's saying. He's not saying I actually trust you. He's just saying that whatever you do is you, right? Whether it's good or bad, good and bad. It's like it's not linear. It could go up or down. Like it is you.
It's you.
Gotcha.
So I mean, I guess we're kind of saying the same thing, but that's a wild ass definition of that.
Yeah.
That person need to get checked out.
You think? Okay. I'm gonna tell you who said it after I'm not gonna tell you right now.
But it makes sense because it's kind of like how I grew up, right? I don't have.
And it's easier to trust that way.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna trust you to be who you are.
I think I say it in
without saying putting limitations on you.
I say it a different way is that I don't have any expectations of you.
Yeah, no expectations, no disappointments.
Yeah,
that's fine if you don't have no relationship with this person. If you have a relationship with this person, listen, you ain't just going, you got prenups and all that other type of shit, but you just ain't going to, you just going to trust your wife to be who she is, or trust your business partner.
No, what I'm saying is whatever she does do is that's her.
That's who you trust. That's her.
That's her.
And
until it come up,
you can't put a condition on it.
But I'm saying until it come up, you won't know.
Yeah, but even when it does, it's you.
It's you.
It does.
That's you.
But when it does come up, now you got to make sure you believe who they were the first time. But what do? We give more trust. After that, we trust again.
I don't know. It's that whoever said that was a professor.
I didn't mean to go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah,
but
you did. You took us down there. You're responsible for this.
The last one is, like Max said, is faith. And
that's how we got the trust.
It's having, you're right, exactly.
So let's just recap all of these. I want to see on the top. Let's just put these. Lynch, what are they completely?
You had unity, you had self-determination, you had working together collectively, you had group economics, you had purpose, creativity, and faith, I think.
So that's 8?
Something like that. Mm-hmm.
I failed that class too.
You failed counting?
Yeah, one of the words is over here like this. Words, like that,
7, right? Yeah. Ain't that 7, boss?
Yeah. So the cool thing about it is there's a whole ceremony. You can Google the ceremony. We ain't got to talk about that. But I just kind of made a declaration that, and it was largely because of what you said on that conference call that we had. And this just makes sense for my family to be hearing this and us talking about this and having this conversation, that we're going to practice Kwanzaa this year.
Here's the thing. This podcast, this particular episode is not about us.
No.
This podcast is...
None of it is about us.
Well, some of it lends from our experience, and we clearly don't have much on this topic.
Clearly. Well,
right? But still, we don't have much experience on this topic. Right. We're not well-versed on it. Correct. We didn't even know the damn principles.
Right.
So the idea, what I'm asking, what I really want to know, the reason why we brought this whole topic up, and we spent 40 minutes talking about it, is do you actually... know what Kwanzaa is? I'm talking to you listening, you watching.
Yeah.
Did you have an idea what it is before? And if you did or didn't, I want to know below in the comments, right? Because I think I'm just curious. Because I think I feel like I've been a lot of places, I've seen a lot of things, and I've never looked up what the hell Kwanzaa was.
Yeah.
And I think it's a pretty solid thing to celebrate.
Can I add to that call to action?
Why not?
And also...
Because I trust you.
I appreciate that. You don't trust me to be who I'm going to be. I'm going to eat those Oreos.
Me too. Say so for me.
To add to that call to action, also put in the comments if you are willing to practice Kwanzaa this holiday season. Because again, us talking about it is great, but until, we see execution, what is it? So I'd like to add that piece to the call to action.
Mm. Well, I think this was good, man. I think
for me, it's not hard. It's not going to be hard. you know, even in the gym, we're conditioned to take like one topic and devote
Run
the
a whole
whole
week.
week
Yeah.
on one topic. So for me to do one day on faith or creativity or to, you know, practice this with my family or something like that.
I think the
that's
true
not
test
hard.
is beyond the holiday of it, is to the embodiment of the principles.
Absolutely.
100%.
That's another step, but I think that's just a good point. But anyways, man, look, I'm out of here. I know you guys got to scatter.
Yeah, we are
So
old.
listen, I appreciate you guys watching. Appreciate you listening. If you're on podcast land, you know what to do. If you like this video, just like it. And if you're not subscribed, please do that, because we love every single one of y'all. If you listen on Podcast World, all you gotta do is hit that star button, and not the 1 star, but the 5 star. Leave a comment. You know what it is. I'm your man Maxwell. This is the Endgame Podcast.
Man, Rod Brown.
I'm Lynch Hunt.
And we out of here. We love y'all. Peace.
Peace.